Just 9 hours after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese attacked American bases in the Philippines. Military nurses had come expecting a tropical playland. They had no training in combat medicine. As the Japanese closed in, nurses retreated with the U.S. forces to the Bataan Peninsula, their backs to the sea. Soldiers fought bravely, but outnumbered 20-1, they slowly gave ground through January, February, and March. Casualties mounted as the men battled bullets, bayonets, tropical diseases, and malnutrition. April 9th, soldiers surrendered their guns to the Japanese. The nurses had their orders: evacuate on the last boats fleeing Bataan. They reported for duty at the Army Hospital in Malinta Tunnel on Corregidor Island. Burrowed underground, nurses lost track of day and night. Bombs shook the walls and ceiling, but nurses remained calm. They double-stacked beds, tripled them, and still the wounded came. The women never became hardened to shattered and bleeding bodies, but drew upon a blessed numbness that allowed them to do their job. They suffered exhaustion, dysentery, malaria, and breakbone fever. Medical supplies and food dwindled, but the worst was yet to come. Near midnight, under a full moon, a wave of Japanese barges landed on the beaches of Corregidor. U.S. General Jonathan Wainwright feared the wholesale slaughter of his men. He sent out the white flag and went to meet Japanese leader Masaharu Homma. Nurses heard the news over the tunnel radio. Surrender would come at noon, May 6th. They were relieved the constant bombing and bloodshed ended, but they feared what would happen to them as prisoners. One wrote, "I wondered if I would die and how I would die. I hope to be quiet and brave." They continued caring for wounded soldiers until the nurses were taken to a civilian internment camp. They set up a hospital for prisoners, finding purpose in their vocation, resilience in friendship, and strength in their identity as U.S. military women. As months in captivity turned into years, once again they faced illness and starvation. They endured, turning suffering into humor and hope, forging courage in their darkest moments. When U.S. liberators arrived in February 1945, all 78 Army and Navy nurses remained alive to come home. Nearly 70 years later, retired Army nurse Millie Dalton Manning told me she still had nightmares about prison camp.
You know, we put in the San Tomas, and there were 4,000 other people in there. And just to be around a lot of people I don't like anymore, like going in a mall at Christmas time. I want to run out.
Millie married and raised a family, but suffered lasting health problems due to her treatment as a POW.
I had beriberi, which damaged my nerves. And so I still have peripheral neuropathy from that. Yeah, I got a lot of things. If somebody comes in the room and I don't know they're there and they tap me on the shoulder, I'll jump out of my skin.
Millie was the last surviving nurse. She died March 8, 2013. She was 98. The U.S. military did not recognize the nurses as war combatants, nor honor their service and sacrifice until 1983. By then, many of the nurses had died. The commander of the POW nurses was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Service Medal in 2001. This is Mary Cronk Farrell, author of Pure Grit: how American World War II nurses survived battle and prison camp in the Pacific.